So let me tell you a story about Eastern Kentucky that you are probably not going to hear otherwise. And could it be dangerous for me to tell you this? Possibly. But I think the story needs to be told. 2 decades ago, the family of William Martin decided to take the coal, oil, and gas companies to court because William Martin had been granted a lot of land, like thousands of acres, in eastern Kentucky for exemplary service during the Civil War. But the stipulation on the deed was that the mineral rights and water rights could not be sold. They had to pass with the land from generation to generation. It could not be sold. So fast forward to a couple of decades ago, some of the family that was doing genealogical research discovered this little tidbit of information. And when they checked, the oil, gas, and coal companies owned the rights to the minerals for that land. So they got a court case together, got an attorney, and took them to court. Now, the gas company immediately recognized that the family had a case and put $180,000 in escrow waiting for the case to be settled. They were ready to settle. They owed the family money. They were going to pay the money they owed. But you see, the coal and oil company, they flat out refused, and they kept stalling the case. Meanwhile, the attorney for the family dies in a mysterious hit-and-run car accident. They finally find another attorney, and a few months in, he disappears and they've never found his body. And I think any of us who know anything about Eastern Kentucky know exactly where his body is probably at right now. The bottom of an abandoned well in the mountains, or in an abandoned mine shaft, probably. More than likely. So, the family finally found a third attorney to represent them from out of state, and after just a few months, that attorney got spooked by something or someone and dropped the case and went back home. So, when I tell you that the coal, oil, and gas companies in Eastern Kentucky own judges, they own attorneys, they own sheriffs, they own mayors, they own anyone with power in Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, because you see, that family is owed, as of 2 decades ago, I'm not sure what the current number is, but 2 decades ago, the coal, oil, and gas companies owed that family over $250 million that they had stolen from the land. Oh, how do I know this, by the way? Because it's my family. Because I've sat in a courtroom in Hindman, Kentucky, and witnessed a judge allow the attorneys for the coal, oil, and gas companies to extend the trial date out, to push for a continuance. And time after time after time, the judge in Hindman, Kentucky, allowed the attorneys for the defendants to grant a continuance. They were granted a continuance repeatedly so they could make attorneys disappear. And he wouldn't allow the case to go to federal court because if it gets out of the mountains, then they don't own those judges. Yeah. There's a story for you. Those are the same people who own Mitch McConnell.